To all angels of poetry, we all would be happy to live on such an ideal planet, without suicidal criminal attempts and terrorism, dictators and other human monsters, financial swindles and corrupt politicians, famine, poverty, fanaticism and wars. In democracy and understanding, the cosmos can inspire all the people of Earth through its perfection, remaining the greatest model of harmony. I would say every look at the sky means a breath of peace. A poem by Andre Dorian York. I was inspired to create an event for the Lunar Anomaly Research Society that was based on a special kind of poetry that they do in Romania, basically where people have star parties. Astronomy buffs go out and look at the stars, and during the event where they go out and look at the stars, they also have a campfire and they sit around and they read poetry that they've written that was inspired by the cosmos. And I thought that was really cool. So I created this Cosmopoetry event as a virtual event, so various poets could participate in writing some poetry and sharing that with the Lunar Anomaly Research Society people. And so these are some of the poems that we had in our event called The Moon in June, Cosmopoetry Slam. I was glad that we had a number of poets participating. So here are the results. While you are enjoying the wonderful poetries from the Lunar Anomaly Research Society poets that participated, you'll be viewing pictures that were colorized by Brett C. Shepard, and here's his explanation of that part of the project.
This is a selection of the Lunar Orbiter 1 through 5 images, a collection of oblique and colorized images. Credit NASA and colorized by Brett C. Shepard.
Artie by Casey Patrick. If Artemis, the moon, were a moody teenager, withdrawn and sullen, dressed in gothic black, Artie sulks, sleeps all day, and is silent all night. One morning she breaks her dark aesthetic and wears a white, sparkly headband, up for breakfast, and walks to the park. Something dawns within her countenance, and she comes out of her room a little more each day. It's a crush, Mama Sharov, as she cracks a smile like it might break her face or something. Nail polish is suddenly opalescent instead of Sharpie black, and now she skips out to who knows where and comes back grinning. How did she find that dress in her Poe-inspired closet? Silver white, she beams, it's a date, and the full moon alights as she skips out, and later dances back in, stars at her feet, and her heart glowing. He didn't call. A furrowed brow, but not to worry, she's got a new way to do her hair. In a few nights, she sighs. Got a new book about vampires. It's a series. She's quiet and reassumes her dark aspect. Mom is worried about what is going on. Dad is unconcerned. It's just a phase, says he. Lunatic Fringe by Fred Schrott. Full moon flowing bright and still, questions burning ever chill the core of my soul. As it is rising mighty above the flow, water churning with undertow, forever committed to a future that says not what have you done for me, but if I can now do more for you, as strange as it may seem to such dormant past years as the high orbiting luminescent satellite shifts into a dark and sullen synchronized lullaby. Dana Moon by Brett C. Shepard. Living memory he feels deep within, Down to his bones he sees the goddess moon in the night sky, penetrating his soul with the destruction and creation within him. Feeling every part of himself in the moon, light divinity of the feminine and masculine Luna, he steps and sees the shadow of the moon as part of him, a never-ending, eternal, immortal journey of the spirit, and the coming of light radiating upon her immortal surface, shining her spirit deep within him as he wakes into a slumbering dimension. He gently floats down upon the lunar surface as his elders did before him, leaving their statues of devotion to her. She stands still in the darkness, telling of those who once lay hands upon her massive glassy rock walls. He slowly steps towards the acquiescing night, still, as she seems to grow taller, miles into space and miles into time. She reaches and longs to be earthbound, and as he slowly touches the base, he feels her. Lonely-hearted, longing to be free from her frozen pedestal, he becomes one with her as she is his life, and dreams through his eyes and learns about the tiny but significant life seemingly passing like a planet, her arms free from the space that held them both captive. The young druid longing to be with her freezes and turns to stony glass near her. They were always there together, as it was his life, his dream, and the frozen reality of his builders. They remain till this very day upon the horizon of the not-so-dark moon, and many years later they were once again discovered, frozen in time and space together, immortalized for eternity. We also had some really wonderful shorter works that were submitted to the Poetry Slam. I myself had decided to challenge my poetry writing capacity by making myself do a quatrain, a haiku, a limerick, and some free verse. So I'd like to share the shorter works that we had that were submitted, and I hope you enjoy them. Okay, for the first Cosmopoetry Slam short, it's a haiku written by myself, Casey Patrick, Hollow Moon Theory. When struck, it tones for hours. Does this idea ring true? The next short that we have is from Charlotte Rose Hamby. The evening sky was empty except for the brilliant moon, pregnant with a rosy glow and knowledge awaiting to bloom. Well, famously, Nostradamus wrote quatrains. That was his form of poetry. So this is a quatrain by Casey Patrick. Roses are red, violets do bloom. Nostradamus wrote quatrains under the moon. We have another short entry from Laura Bickham Perry. The moon is hypnotic. Oh, how sometimes I wish it was a straight tonic. But if it was a straight tonic, it would cloud my view of such a beautiful hue, unlike the world we really never knew. Well, I didn't get too many limerick entries, but I did write one of my own. Pseudo-skeptics opined their stale homilies and uphold their peer-reviewed liturgies. Charles Fort said it best, passing mainstream's science test means rendering much data anomalies. And this entry was from Brett C. Shepard and Casey Patrick. We collaborated. One tear slowly descends, etching my face like hydrochloric acid on copper as I contemplate the color of no. I would have laughed at my ironic fate would it not have divided my head from itself. When you are traveling, it seems like the moon is following you. That is the lie. Or is it? Look Who's Back by Fred Schrott. pock-faced giant that tiptoes about. It's the reason that I howl, there cannot be a doubt. First happy-faced, then sad-faced, between them one eye opens wide. Neither calm, cool, nor collected inhibitions will soon subside. It's a cheese ball, it's a phony, it's the reason that I bark. First it's smirking, then it's lurking, disappears off to the dark. It's so cavernous, appears so hazardous, but may this buyer soon beware. If you don't purchase land there, you'll be pulling out your hair. New Moon Script by K.C. Patrick. In dark aspect, she consigns the evening's festivities to her companion stars. The myriad host whirl around that singular star, constant Polaris, in an ancient dance, observed by magi watchers far below. In the time of inky darkness, intentions may seed the etheric womb of the silvery goddess. Those earnest entreaties may be borne to the Mother Moon as she alights, as sure as time and tides, to the theatre of the night, spotlight to the play of possibility. Poem by John Miller. Silver and shiny way up in the sky, such an awesomely beautiful sight. That nocturnal crescent so far up there since antiquity has ruled the night. She's known by many different names, this goddess of quiet, serene. Phoebe, Artemis, Diana, and of course the Greek goddess, Her Highness, Selene. Waxing or waning, 1/4 or full, her phases slip gracefully by, controlling the oceans and wooing romantics as she dances across a star-filled sky. Children adore her as they run and play in their moonlit shadows at night, as the sun surrenders another day to her soft and tranquil light. The moon is a friend to the lonesome heart, and a study for philosophers' minds. Even poets and kings are subject in part to this celestial deity in kind. Across her vast and cratered expanse, from sea to tranquil sea, generations have sought to set their foot upon her majesty. Reading my little girl's bedtime book, and the dish ran away with the spoon. Yet her gaze is not on the book or me, but through the window at her moon. I will never be a morning person, and I thank the stars above simply because the moon and I are way too much in love. Aegeus by Brett C. Shepard. Cascading clear water, cool wet trickling, moist earth and smooth rocks under the reflection of the moon, behind the fading night cloud, living, breathing, calling, beaming reflections in the heart. The moon is the place where ancient starts, the clue of Theseus and the labyrinth of the soul, Aegeus with a broken heart, and the tears of his sea breaking upon the pebbled shore, like hearts crumbling alive. Alive is Dana as she spills into the Black Sea, carrying the sediment of our history to a secret place in plain sight. We are the same as those of the past. We are whole with each breath of a new life, and at peace when balance reveals a moment of truth in our now and in our then.